This is the third video in a row. We have just seen capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor, capacitance of a spherical capacitor, now capacitance of a cylindrical capacitor. So a cylindrical capacitor meaning there is a inner cylinder of radius R1 and you give charge Q to the cylinder, all the charge will lie at the surface and it behaves as if all the charges are concentrated at the center, means it's like a line of charge. And there is a outer sphere of radius R2, outer sphere of radius R2, inner sphere of radius R1, outer sphere of radius R2, and a charge plus Q is given inside and there is a charge minus Q on the surface of the outer cylinder. Then the capacitance of a capacitor is the ratio of charge to potential difference V. And what is the potential difference? Since it's a line of charge and all the charge that you give is actually distributed in the outer surface of the cylinder, and it's a large cylinder, and here the linear charge density is lambda and the charge is given, and what is V? At distance r, you need to find out the potential difference, and the potential difference is negative of the integral from against the electric field, because positive charge to negative charge, electric field will go outside, so it is minus. From here to here the external work is done to move a unit positive charge from here to here. That gives you the potential difference between the inner cylinder and the outer cylinder. And where to where you are bringing? From R2 to R1, because distance from this point to here is R2. You are moving it from here to here at this point. This distance is R1. So work is done from moving a unit positive charge from R2 to R1 into E dot dr. And electric field here is electric field due to infinitely long linear charge density, because what charge given is distributed in the cylinder. If the charge is distributed over the surface of a sphere, it behaves as if all the charges are at the center. In the case of a cylinder, all concentrated at the center but in a linear fashion, so it behaves as if all the charges are concentrated in the form of a straight wire having a charge density lambda. If the linear charge density is lambda, the length of the cylinder is L. You remember that electric field at a distance r will be equal to, according to what we derived in the applications of Gauss law, it is R2 to R1. E will be equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r into dr. So minus lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught, dr by r is natural logarithm of r. Natural logarithm of r, upper limit is R1, lower limit is R2. If there is negative sign, if you multiply the negative sign, this is R2, this is R1. You can change it. So lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into natural logarithm of R2 minus natural logarithm of R1. If this negative sign were there, R1 minus R2 will come. If you multiply the negative sign, that becomes natural logarithm of R2 minus natural logarithm of R1. Then the potential V will be equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught. Log A minus log B is log of A by B. Hence it is natural logarithm of R2 by R1. Then what is the capacitance of this setup? Capacitance is charge by potential difference. Potential difference is lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into natural logarithm of R2 by R1. This 2 pi epsilon naught go up. Lambda is the linear charge density. Lambda linear charge density means lambda is equal to charge by length. Then the charge will be equal to lambda into L. If you substitute it over here, this will be lambda into L divided by 2 pi epsilon naught will come up. So 2 pi epsilon naught will be there. Lambda into natural logarithm of R2 by R1. Then capacitance of a cylindrical capacitor is 2 pi epsilon naught L divided by natural logarithm of R2 by R1. Here for a cylindrical capacitor, we can define capacitance per unit length. If you divide per unit length means by L, then this L will come over here. Capacitance per unit length will be 2 pi epsilon naught by natural logarithm of R2 by R1.